Hey, welcome back to the Build Show. It's not just any build show, it's a Wednesday build show, and you know what that means? We're halfway through the week, guys. That's what it means. You guys thought I was going to say it, didn't you? Tony, welcome back to the Build Show. Noah, welcome back to the Build Show over on the YouTube, and Tony's over on the Twitch as well. Chefy Tech, welcome back to the Build Show over on the Twitch. Go Nuclear, over on the Kick. Thank you for joining us over there. Welcome back to the Build Show. Oh, Chewy, thank you for the subscribe, the sub over there on the YouTube. Much appreciated. Well, tonight we have an interesting one. We have a very interesting one. Let me just move my shelf a little bit out of the way there. Turn that down just a bit. All right. So I had a customer drop off a PC that they started the build on. They started the build. And I don't know what happened, to be honest. It sounds like they just got to a point where they didn't know either how to finish it or ran out of time. They just asked, hey, can you finish the build for us? So that is what we're doing tonight. I did not build this. This is how it showed up. All these lovely components. Awesome hairstyle. Thank you. This is Ben needs a haircut hairstyle. That is what the hairstyle is. I just I need to go get a haircut. Anyway, I have no idea if this is built right. But we're going to find out, I guess. We're going to find out together. It's going to be an adventure. I know we don't get a lot of ITX builds, so I really wanted to do this one on the channel because we don't get to do a lot of ITX build, and that is exactly what this is, built in the Masterbox N200P, to be exact. So it is a very small ITX tower, but still long enough to fit a decent sized card in here, which the box for this 9070 XT that's going to go in here is bigger than the case itself. So that is a little bit of a concern. I don't know if we did our homework and made sure that the 3-fan card will actually fit. I didn't do any homework. We're just going to find out live. Hey, what's up? I'm V for C. I don't know what that says, honestly. The name. Ooh, goody. Ooh, goody. Yes, welcome to the Build Show, anyway. Let me know if there's a specific way you would like me to call you. I'm vacancy. Oh, I'm vacancy. That's what I think that is. I finally got it. Took me only 15 seconds to figure that out. Hey, at least I got it. All right, so first off, the ITX build is always really difficult to build in. We've got lots of cables in here. Got a block that's not on the CPU. It looks like they attempted to block it. So that's kind of concerning that they already attempted, it looks like. And there's just thermal paste here. And the CPU's been wiped clean, so that's also a concern. Or this is pre-applied thermal paste that just rubbed off on stuff when they moved it around and packaged it back up to bring it to me. No idea. We'll find out. Yeah, man, what's up? Exclamation point enter. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a command, Tony. Ooh, I see. Yes, we all see. This AIO wants you to know that it is designed by Cooler Master. Thanks, Cooler Master. Anyway. Let's find out what we gotta do. It looks like they got our EPS cable plugged in here in the top corner. Got a RAM installed. I have no idea if there's an SSD already on this board. No idea. Got our little bridge thingy here for our front panel connectors, which look like, I assume, are all plugged in correctly. That's power. I don't even know where to start with this, guys. That is definitely correct. I don't know if the LEDs are or not. Yep. So that's all correct. Then we have HD audio on there. Looks correct. Do have some bottom fans here. I don't know if you can notice, but these are Noctua fans on the bottom, which are really fancy and nice. And they are the thinner styled fans. So they're 15 millimeter thickness, very, very thin fans, which is, I think, okay in this case. The rest of it looks all right as well. So I honestly do not know where we got stuck in this. Yeah, I would have routed the power cord on the other side of these tubes, but I mean, does it really matter? No. Alright, so before we get thermal paste, we're going to wipe that clean. Yes. One of the first things I did do was pull that CPU and look at the pins, and I was like, please don't be bent. And they are not bent. So I've already done that. We could put a contact frame on there. I do have those available here in stock if we needed to. Alright, that's a lot better. It looks like this is bounced around and rubbed up on some stuff quite a bit. Yeah, we've got PWM connections here for our fans, but they're not plugged in on both of them. So I can see our bottom fans aren't plugged in. I assume pop the back panel off here. Yeah, let's get these out. Okay. And we'll come back to this graphics card in a bit. We just want to shore everything up and make sure everything's, you know, all the right spot. So that is what we are going to do first. Alright, so that is definitely our seat pads. Want to make sure that that is correct. Our power supply fan is facing the correct direction, I think. Got some Velcros here, which I guess we could use for cable management. I don't know if I would have routed 24, but I don't think you could really do it any other way. They also got a, I don't know what this is, pump? It has to be for the pump. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a Gigabyte B650i Aurorus series. I don't know exactly which one it is. Like, actually, the Aurorus Ultra. The B650i Aurorus Ultra. Kind of want to look under this. Just see if there is actually an SSD on here. Actually, the SSD is on the back side. I'm glad I looked. That's right there. So I can see that's already mounted, and it looks like it's in there correctly, so I'm not even going to bother taking that out. Just to save myself some time here. What else? We got a pump we have to connect. We have two fans that don't have headers that we have to deal with. We need somehow to power up these fans, and it looks like this might be a pump. But I'm actually not sure. And I don't have a motherboard manual here that I'm aware of. So we're going to have to look up these ports, because I'm not familiar with this board. I assume this has got to be the pump or case fan. The pump, we can actually run at full speed and just connect that to SATA power if we have to. And talking about that, I don't see any SATA power cables here. That'll be a problem. I see 0 SATA power cables. Here are 16 pin and our 8 pins for the GPU, which we need one or the other. We don't need both of those on there, so we could actually remove those and eliminate that from the power supply. But the downside is I don't see any SATA power, so we won't be able to use that. So we have to somehow get that pump plugged in and then route these cables to probably the CPU fan header. I think that's our goal. I don't know. What do you guys think? We've got CPU fan header, and then whatever the hell this is, which we should go identify. Okay, let's go look this board up. Gigabyte 50i Aorus. Or Aorus Ultra. Yeah, the reason why there's no build specs is because I have no idea what I'm dealing with here yet. Kind of like a surprise. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go, you know? Alright. So what I need is the manual. Oh, there's 3 different versions. How lovely. There's a 1.2, a 1.1, and a 1.0 of this board. See in the bottom, on Gigabyte boards, the bottom left corner of your motherboard will have your revision number, and it is 1.0, so I can easily determine that. And we're just going to go to the manual and locate a English manual. User's manual. Manual. Okay, so this is listed as CPU option. This is where we could put the pump. This is definitely the CPU fan, so that is correct. We know those are correct. But I don't see any other headers on the board. This does have an M.2 option on it. As well as a restart switch, as well as an RGB header, as well as front panel USB and USB 2.0 hub. So this little stack has all of that. That's a lot on there. This manual is actually very detailed. I really like it. I should have pulled it up on the screen for you guys so you could see it. Alright, so we're going to put our pump here. So when we mount this, the pump's going to go right here. But we still have the problem where we have 2 fans that are not running on any header. So my goal, or my thought, is to take these fans and get it plugged into the CPU fan header and split that and have all 4 fans run off the CPU taps. I think that would be best. So let's see if there's any extensions, because this thing is super short. Aha, there are extensions by Noctua. These are not the 4-pin extension cable. 4-pin extension cables. These are not the quiet cables, which we don't want. Oh, and they provided some Noctua thermal paste. We'll use that. So that's what we'll do. But we are short. Looks like they had some hair in that box, and that just fell into the hair. That we don't want that in there. We need to split the CPU connection. So I have splitters. These are really nice for this situation. This is a Arctic 4-pin PWM fan splitter. So what this is going to allow me to do is plug it into the CPU fan header and then split the connection to 4 different, actually everything we need. So we can eliminate the splitter that they have on there and just run this. A lot cleaner. Now, we might rotate this fan so that this, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Oh man, this is the problem with ITX builds, is they're super small. Our actual, oh come on. Camera, wake up, there you go, focus. Our PWM connection's all the way over here for some reason. We could just run it down here to the back, but it's gonna look ugly, even though the graphics card's gonna sit here on top of it. But I think we just rotate the fan and get the PWM connections towards the back. So we'll do that. We'll start with that. Rotate this bad boy. We're doing stuff, guys. We're making it happen. Also, I still don't know if these fans will fit here or not. To be honest, I have no idea if these are going to fit properly. All right. And they are set up as intake, which is what we want. Probably going to rotate that second fan around too because it's pointing to the front. You know, these are little things that don't really make a huge difference. It's just, I'm a perfectionist. I can't help myself. I just have to do it. So. While we have this fan removed, I'm going to actually take the opportunity to double check the graphics card and see if this one is a 16-pin card or 8-pin, because we could remove or eliminate some of these cables if it's one or the other. We don't need both sets of cables in here. Hey, what's up? Detroit Truck Doctor Mike. What's up, man? This is actually a 3-pin or 3 8-pin. So 8-pin by 3 is what this is. Are you going to run that card horizontal? It has to go horizontal. Thankfully, the case came with this thing, which is a riser cable for the case. But now we know what the card is, so we can choose PCIe versus this 450 watt cable, which out of the power supply. We eliminated a cable out of an ITX case, which is absolutely what we want to do. Play this. We're going to reroute. Yeah. Round of the 24 pin. Oh. That was almost bad. Hey, what's up, Ernesto? Welcome back to the Build Show. Jones, leave a like, guys. Oh, thank you. On Gaming. Welcome back to the Build Show, guys. There's actually almost no purpose to doing that, but I wanted to. And this 24 pin. And what's really nice about this power supply cage is that we have zip ties here we could use. We could use that. Zip tie mounts. Tie these cables up here nice and neat. So I'm not gonna tighten that down quite yet. Well, like that. SB, same thing here. We could have gone a little deeper here on this, but there's really no point to doing that. That's going to keep it a lot cleaner there, I think, yeah. Okay. Where's my zippers? All right, so now that that's all done, we know the cables that we need. Actually, just unplug this right now. Pull that through. Crap. I think we need to charge extra for ITX builds. Ernesto, doing my usual round of finding you on other platforms too. Kick, Twitch, Killa, Byte. Oh, nice, man. Oh, what's up, Killa? How's it going, man? Welcome to the Build Show. And then we're going to open up our splitter that we have here. And we're going to push that through and get that plugged into the seat fan header. Then we can plug in all 4 fans in the system on the seat header. Just like that. Well, don't think we can, but it's possible. I want to. Yes, can. Tucked in here. That. They zip tied these tubes right here, and I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like the fact that they zip tied these tubes down in here. We'll see how that plays out. Okay, so now that we got that done, let's get this fan plugged back in, or reinstalled, rather. Facing the same way the other one is. Lost one of these, which is a good thing I caught that. The hardware for the AIO. That would have sucked. Hey, what's up? What are the specs? Well, a customer brought this in, kind of half built, or mostly built, to be honest. and they didn't get it finished, so now they're asking me to finish it. I'm not sure what happened, to be honest, because it was mostly built. But it is a Ryzen 5 9600X on a Gigabyte Aorus B650i Ultra, Aorus Ultra board, and I think it's 32 gigs of Crucial Pro, DDR5 Pro RAM. I'm not sure on the power supply size, but I assume it's an 850 watt. Most SFXs are around that. And we've got a Cooler Master cooler, and then this is a Cooler Master ITX case. It's the Masterbox NR200P. And then we have a 9070 XT, and the SSD, I'm actually not sure because it was already on the board. And it was probably, I would assume, anywhere from 1 or 2 terabytes. That would be my assumption. Steal the DDR5 when you have a chance. No, unfortunately, they dropped it off for me to do the build. So, or finish it at least. That is what we're trying to do here. So, we're just now getting back to, I repositioned these bottom fans, which are 15 millimeter. Really thin crust fans. And we're going to finish getting these mounted here and then move on to maybe blocking the CPU or something. I don't even know. I don't even know if these fans are supposed to fit here or not with the graphics card being vertical. Don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. But we're going to find out. That is done. It's already starting to look a lot cleaner now that we've resituated some of the cables. Yeah. A little cleaner. Actually, extremely unfamiliar with this case, so I don't know how this installs or mounts. That is our riser cable. We got another adapter. We don't need that though. Oh, never mind. Here's some SATA cables. I just missed them in the box. Oh, here's another thing. Where does that go though? I didn't know that existed. I didn't see any other headers. Oh, because you can unplug that fan and run this there. So this has a fan on this heatsink / heat spreader, and you can unplug that fan and run your own fan there. So that is what that is for. But this is where our pump's going to go right there. We want to be able to control different speeds, at least on the fans and the pump. That is a more important option. Or is it? Alright, so now we just got to plug the fans in on the back, install the graphics card, put the block on the CPU. I actually have no idea how this is supposed to install. Doesn't look like it mounts to anything. I wonder if the card just floats there? Question mark? Okay, we're definitely going to have to get this CPU block mounted first. This is going to have to get mounted first. And we want, looks like it wants to mount like that. Get this hardware back on here. And then of course get some thermal paste on there. And Vietnamese, what's up, Africa? Africa Wombat, hi. What happened? I know nothing about this stuff. My brothers were supposed to build it. Oh, nice. But got halfway through and went out, leaving me with what I have left. There's two Samsungs. Okay, so there's two Samsung 2TB 990 Pros. So this is filled out and on the back. I did notice the one on the back, so I was like, okay, there's at least, I know for sure there's an SSD on there. So I'm figuring it out as we go. I didn't get a whole lot of time to look at it, but so far, and this is actually, I don't think I've built in this case in a long time. It's been a while. So I don't do very many ITX builds because a lot of people like the big fancy builds. But we're going to be putting your bottom fans and your top fans on your radiator, both on the CPU fan header. So your CPU fan speed is going to control all 4 fans. We cleaned up some of the cables here, and our pump is going to go to our CPU option OPT header. You'll be able to control the pump separately from the fans. We removed the 16-pin cable from the power supply because the graphics card uses 3 8-pin connectors. That was an unnecessary cable in the system, and in an ITX build, we don't want all that extra cable. We want to eliminate as many cables as we can. So we eliminated that. I rotated the bottom fan so that the cable is pointing to the back so we could easily route that and keep the cables out of the way from the fans. But yeah, so far so good. We just got to finish putting it together now at this point. EA888. I love those tiny builds. Welcome to the build show, sir. Kilobyte. I almost gave up on my build the first time when it came to plugging in the PSU, fan cables, motherboard, LOL. Oh man, it's not that bad. Tony, my 9070 only has 2 8-pin connectors. I'm actually kind of glad. Yes. Yeah, I think this card, actually I didn't even see if it fits. Should fit. It's basically going to be bumping the back and the front. It's a tight fit, not gonna lie. But we're close. All right, so let's paste it up. It looks like we have some Noctua we'll be using. It was provided. So did they ever get this thing fired up at all, or they just left it half built and called it a day? Cleaned the bottom here. Actually, before we strap this bad boy down, want to double check these, make sure they're good and snug. I don't know if they removed them or not. They are good to go. Sorry if my arms are in the way and or my head. Quite the interesting design by Cooler Master. These are finger tight only. What's up, man? Well, you know, it's Wednesday. Got my hands inside an ITX build. We'll see how many times I accidentally let a cuss word out. ITX builds are tiny. I have big hands. Not a good mix. This is hand tighten only, which is kind of strange from Cooler Master. Not a fan of that at all. So we're gonna get these as tight as possible with my fingers. and hope that's good enough. Okay, that is that. And this is our pump connector, like I was saying earlier. We'll connect right to this, and we'll probably something like that and zip tie it. Zip tie, zip tie, zip tie. Yeah, more here. Go. That's going to be out of the way. Trying to make it so that some airflow can still make it through the memory here, which I mean it will, but we want as much as possible. As DDR5 memory gets hot, and I actually don't know what speed that is. I hope it's okay stuff. Hey, what's up, Robert? Welcome back to the Build Show. Honestly, he says, I'm honestly not 100% sure. I wish I had better answers. Or is this better answers? I trusted them to help me. They said something about not getting to flash the BIOS, and I'm not sure if that's needed or not. Thank you for taking this on for me. Yeah, no problem. No problem. So if we do have to flash the BIOS, for anybody who's wondering, this is a B650. So if this was and this is a version 1, and there's version 1.1, 1.2 of this board, which tells me most likely what happened is they put it together, assembled it, and couldn't get it to post because they had to flash the BIOS. Because this is a 9600X, and maybe this board came out before the 9600X was released, which means the board doesn't know what CPU it is. It is 100% compatible, but might need a BIOS update. Thankfully, this board, which I did check, has a QFlash feature. What that means is we could plug our USB in with our BIOS update, and we do have to specify which, I think it's like rename the BIOS file to like gigabyte.bin or something, and then we can push the QFlash and it should update the BIOS without the need of a CPU or RAM plugged in. It just needs power, and then that should flash the BIOS. So if that's the problem, we do have QFlash to save the day, which will be nice, you know. All right, now we got that plugged in. Let's get the fans plugged in the back, and then we can put a card in here and basically fire this thing up and see what's what. Right, so we don't need these here. Can go away. These need to somehow run up there. I'm almost scared to run it on the back side. I might actually have to run it through the inside on that cable run, right through the middle. In fact, that is exactly what I do. And we sneak them through. Oh, oh, we cannot. What we'll do, pull these back through. Our goal is to get it in the middle, the back side. Oh, shoot. Plug that. Nice. Exactly what we wanted to do. Yeah. We'll run these straight up through here. Somehow snake it through. I know it's not much to see right now, because the tiny build. What's the name of that AIO? I have the NR200 V2, so couldn't get the AIO with the case, and mine is way too short. Hard to have good airflow with a big GPU. This is a Cooler Master AIO. I actually don't know if this was included with the case. I would assume it is. Seemed like it would have been. But it's a Cooler Master AIO. They actually started the build before I got to it, and then they brought it to me to finish. So that was already in there. I got my hand. It was already done, and I got my hands on it. Oh yeah. Big fingers, small case. Wonderful. Wonderful mix. All right, I don't even know how to make this work. Cable feeding, what that's called, precision cable feed. There we go. All right, so we snaked those from down there all the way up there. I mean, it works, so I'm not going to complain at all. Now we have all 4 of these that we want to get plugged in. We're plugging into this splitter here. Then we will zip tie this up. This is going to be on the back. You're not really ever going to see this. So, not too worried. As long as the back panel closes, everything sits flush, fresh. Should be good. These can be tied up here. I think you could have actually gone around the AIO tubes with these, but they're pretty well set, so I don't think we necessarily need to do that. Are you familiar with the cooler? Is it a Cooler Master NR200? Yes, it is. The N200P. P is in Peter. You know what? The heck with these things, we're just going to zip tie it through that. Have to and I'm putting red zip ties on it so you can see it if you ever take it apart. You're like, why can't I pull this cable? See that it is zip tied, really, not camoed in there. So that should stand out. If anybody's ever in there. Okay, so now that that is all done, we can probably install a graphics card now. I'm sorry if you guys couldn't see that. I just realized I was pretty zoomed in. But we could probably get a graphics card installed now. Not too familiar. This is supposed to be mounted anywhere. I think we're okay like that. Hardware. I don't see any hardware, case hardware here, so of our own hardware. And this is a 9070 XT, which is an Asus Prime. Looks like it has been opened already, but not all the peels have been peeled. We're going to peel these peels real quick. Oh, that one went under the nail. Nice. Thank you, peel. Hopefully you stayed warm over there. Oh, yeah. We're trying to stay warm. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Make sure these are all peeled. We don't want one falling off and landing in there somewhere. I'm going to stand it up for this so you guys won't be able to see much. But what I am going to do, basically stand the cart up, get these plugged in. Downside is that this power supply only offers 2 8-pin cables, and it's asking for 3, so I'm going to plug in 2. One's which? Labeled? Alright, so that's 1. We're going to bounce off of 2. Just the pigtail off of the second one. The third one. Tie that. Oh, yeah. Almost there, guys. Almost there, and then I'll flip it around. Thank you for the sub over there. Dimitri? Thank you for the sub over there on YouTube. Why does the GPU backplate look so oily? Oh, probably because I just touched it, and I'm Italian. I can't help myself. The only thing I didn't do is sniff the power supply and taste the thermal paste, so I don't know if this is going to work, guys. That is a GPU that is now installed, and it is a beast. And I'm glad that this cooler included the fan grills, because those GPU cables would have been rubbing right up on those blades, and it would have sounded like a dirt bike going da 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 da. You know. Dirt bike sounds. AMD Ryzen 5 9600X. Yes. Ben. What's up, Ant-Man? Welcome back to the build show, sir. What's the customer build? Well, Africa. Feel free to drop your specs in. I did not fill out the exclamation point build, because I was kind of in a rush getting the stream started, and I didn't have time to really go through all the hardware and see exactly what everything was. Hi, what CPU is in it? It's a 9600X, yes. Jones doing gaming. Or Jones done gaming. EA. Are you familiar with the Cooler Master Cube? They designed it like a pegboard so you can 3D print different accessories and build it your way. I think it's a cool concept. They have a pretty cool concept, especially if you're into 3D printing. Amen says, but everything works fine on Linux. What are you talking about, Amen? Ben, every time I try to install Windows 11 25H2 on a fresh install, the apps won't open and are unresponsive. Any idea why? So if it's a fresh install and you're trying to open like base apps from the Windows install, it might be that the Microsoft Store is trying to download or update those apps. So that might be what's happening. So you might have to let it sit and or open up the Microsoft Store and sign into it. That would be my guess. Because the further Windows 11 goes, the more it's becoming cloud reliant. All right. That should do it, actually. I don't think that was too bad. That was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. What we'll do now is we'll fire this thing up and see if it'll post. If it doesn't post, we'll do a queue clash. And I'll stay on for that, obviously. Stay on until we get it posted. I'm not going to give you guys a side view. Right? I'm going to stay flat. Stay overhead. The other thing, I didn't check to see if that power supply switch was on. Really hope it is. Where it is. I also really hope that cable or power cable stay plugged in. Okay. All right, CPU fans are spinning. Bottom fans are spinning. I pushed the power button. No GPU fans. That's not good. Why no GPU fans? That's a little concerning. Usually with a 9700 XT, that means it's not enough power to start. Hope that's not a small power supply. Yeah, we got no response. Go ahead and plug it in the motherboard and see. May not be. What a cheap power supply. I don't think it's that. Yeah, we got no display. The only thing I can think of is yes, it needs a BIOS flash. And maybe because the CPU is not being detected by the motherboard, the graphics card's like, meh. So, go ahead and shut it back down. We'll get the BIOS downloaded to a USB drive and we'll try a Q-Flash. Because there is life there. So what I did was I just downloaded the BIOS and then I renamed the BIOS file to gigabyte.bin and then put it on this flash drive. And all we got to do is put it in the USB slot labeled BIOS and then push the Q flash and it should start the update. Which it is definitely doing. So reading the USB drive, I do have a USB drive that lights up for me. You can see the little red light. That way I can tell it's being read. We'll let this run and see what it does. Yes, he did say state that BIOS wanted to flash. Oh yeah, we would flash it anyway regardless, so. We're going to the newest version. Let's go. Q flash. For the rescue again. What is GPU? That looks sharp. I like it a lot. Oh, thanks, Tony. Yeah, it does. It's a nice little, cute little mini rig. I hit it. I was signed in. Not even setting up all open. This is why I switched to Linux. I don't have an answer for that, Ant-Man. I'd have to probably take a look at it to try to figure it out. That's it, guys. Get the like up. Looks like it's still reading from the flash drive, so we still got activity on the flash drive down there. So sometimes these could take a minute or two. So how's everybody's week? How about them Tiger? No, I'm just kidding. The Tigers suck right now. It's so bad. I don't even know what they're doing with Scooble. Like, what are you doing with your ace? Pay him this money. We win games with Scooble. Yeah, but outside of that, we got a couple more builds coming in. We'll be doing some more builds. I know it seemed like crazy busy this last couple weeks, which it has been, which is why I didn't stream yesterday. I had to play some catch up. I was way too behind. I was like, I can't start another project build until I get these done. So I had one that I had to get out, and we were missing some instant pack for shipping PCs. Didn't realize we're out, so we had to ship a PC and we had no instant pack. My last BIOS flashback took 6 minutes, so yeah. Crisis to test, please. Yes, we are waiting on it. Still indicating that it is flashing. The Q flash is also lit up, so there's a little light right by the button that blinks when it is flashing, so it's still doing its thing, I think. Hopefully. Maybe. So yeah, I finished a pack of that PC, got it packed up, and then boxed up and shipped. It's going to Michigan. It's just further up north, so it's a little bit of a hike. I would have driven it to them if they were closer, but it was gonna be like a 3.5 hour drive, and I was like, I'm not willing to dedicate that much time in the car. Right now I can't do that, so it was better to ship it at that point. And then I've got another PC, Ray's PC, that we built. I think it was, I want to say Saturday night. That one I'm finishing up still. It's just finishing its benchmarking, so I can get that one packaged up and ship that one probably in the next day or so. And then after that, I've got a bunch of inventory builds sitting here that we got to do. And then after that, we've got a couple of more orders that came in. So we got builds to do. We got builds to do. Lots of builds. I feel like my whole life I've just been building computers. Oh. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. That is the plan. Next build stream probably gonna be towards the weekend, to be honest. Need a little bit of a breaky poo because my building senses are getting numb. Building kind of fun until you install Windows. Building's fun. Windows install's not that bad. I don't know what happened on your end, Tony. I don't understand like how you ran into so many issues with it. I know that the BitLocker thing, that's a weird bug. That's got to be a bug by Windows or Microsoft. I can't. I've been seeing that a lot. A lot of people have been posting about BitLocker popping up randomly after they like pull an SSD out, plug it back in, or do a BIOS update and stuff like that. BitLocker happens. And I think that's a Microsoft bug, to be honest. I don't know why that's happening, though. Oh. You guys. I think that BIOS Q-Flash is done. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. That's exactly what was wrong with it. We're getting some activity on the monitor. Oop. I'm plugged into the motherboard still. Oops. Come over here. Prove that the GPU's gonna fire up. Come on. Oh, there it is. We're getting a BIOS screen. Press escape in 1 second to skip startup NSH or any other key to continue. And we have a shell prompt, which is interesting. That is very interesting. I'm gonna pull that USB out. Might be that. Temu America, the new Amazon our dollar store. Amazon dollar store. Yeah, Gas, what's up, man? Welcome back to the Build Show. Dusty? Yes! We posted. So, it was definitely a Q-Flash or a BIOS update that had to happen. That board had a BIOS version that was so old, I didn't know what the 9600X was, so that's what was going on. But there's no problem with the power supply, no problem with the GPU that I'm aware of. And CPU is working, and the RAM's working, and I see 2 Samsung 990 Pros listed. And the graphics card is showing up as PCIe 5.0 by 16. So that means we're not impacting our bus speeds there, bandwidths, with the 2 990 Pros, which is good. So we're good. That's good to go. Nice. You guys want to install Windows? I don't know if I can get my stupid capture card to capture this. Like we're running Windows Home. Plug that bad boy in. Oh, we can actually enable XMP right now, or Expo. Let's do that. Yes. The Amazon dollar store. Yes. All right. So we plugged our Windows drive in. Windows 11 drive, and we're gonna go ahead and boot into the setup. And I also enabled AMD Expo while we were there in the BIOS. Because why not? So far, so good. Well, geez, guys, I think that was, excuse me. Sorry, I've been up for a long time. I think that was one of our fastest build streams in a while. This is all I had on the docket for tonight. I kind of expected it to go longer, but we still got to install Windows. We already got the BIOS updated, which is nice. We'll play around with the fan curves. Feeling the airflow from those bottom fans, which is good. So that's pushing air through. But we're probably going to make that a little bit more aggressive in an ITX build. I'm going to put Windows install on disk 0 for awareness. Oh, yeah, we got to back this up. I think I'm trying to install Pro by default. Crap. Yes, cancel. We got to restart it. I clicked through and clicked on Pro when it's Windows Home. Oopsie. So I'm so used to doing that. Hey, thanks for the sub, Will Baggins. Baggins. And welcome to the Bill Show. All right. Let's not mess this up twice. Windows 11 Home. Yes. We did it. All right, so that turned out really nice and easy. Oh, crap. Because we already clicked next on that, and it created all these extra partitions. That's good. Delete them all. We don't want a messy drive. I'm just going to delete it all. Deleted. There we go. Nice, clean, and perfect. All right, so Windows 11 is underway. Local account, right? Yes. We are going to start off with a local account and then get in there and test this bad boy, because that's also what we will do. The only thing that I could have done differently in this build is added that contact frame. And that's really it. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a cute little build? Ooh, I like the fan stop feature here. It's like bzz, 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 bzz. I do think it's interesting that only the card is supported by the back here. There's no support underneath. Just literally hovering over the fans here. I would say if you are transporting this PC anywhere, make sure you transport it in the upright position. That'll be the safest place for the graphics card. And yeah, just keep that in mind if you ever transport this PC or move it around. Fractal Galaxy Star episode 598. Where has your channel been all my life? Here. I've been right here this whole time. I've been building for many of years. Last year I think we did 100. What are the? You could actually drop the statistics in there real quick. Hold on. Is it stats? Oh yeah, feel free to join the channel too. Discord. Ah, crap. I can't remember I can't remember my own commands for my channel. Hold on, guys. I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's exclamation point 2025, so that'll spit out the stats. There you go. Yeah. Should be spitting it out. Come on, Streamlab. Come on. There you are. All right, so those are my 2025 stats. We did 131 builds, although it looks like I never updated it on the stream itself, so it still says 130. We serviced over 1,000 customers. We had 112 broadcasted live streams last year in 2025. So yeah, all that fun stuff. And then we had some Twitch stuff there, Twitch stats and YouTube stats mixed in there. Bro, I would have loved to do 131 builds a year. Look at my look at my 2023 build count. Here, let's move this white box so you can read it a little better. There you go. Oh, yeah. It's 733 builds in 2023. Yeah, I think that's a record. I did not, in fact, stream all those, but it was when I was trying to go full-time on this, make this a full-time gig, and I was marketing the crap out of it. Spent a lot of money in marketing, like Google ads and stuff. And also when everybody was getting like stimulus checks too, or towards the tail end of it, I guess. So they had like stimulus money, and then it was just a really banging year for building. And that was also when prices on parts were coming back down, so it was like a realistic year. It was like the perfect storm for builders. And no, it wasn't like 5 a day. It was more like nothing for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden we had 50 builds to do in a week. It was insane. So that's why I couldn't stream all of it. It was just impossible. That year, right before Christmas in 2023, those were some of the most insane streams, live streams that I was doing. I was streaming until like 5 in the morning, building, because I had so many orders that I had to get done before Christmas. It was just, I think I got like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. I was dead Christmas Day in 2023. Walked into my parents' house and I just slapped myself right on the couch and I said, "Wake me up when you're ready to leave." That was my 2023 Christmas. Get ready for the tariffs checks. Yeah. 700 plus builds a lot. Yeah, it was exhausting. I built so much because I stand what I build that my feet hurt. I had to put these like really cushy shoes on because my feet were in that much pain. Like I couldn't stand after that. I was exhausted. My feet hurt. I know I'm just complaining here, but I just want you to know I suffered through a lot of pain to do 733 builds. So realistically, do I want to do that again myself? No. I know what it's like, and I do not want to do that again. It was painful. It also got me to the point where I was like looking at another build, and I sat there staring at the parts, the pile of parts, just looking at it like, I really do not want to build this. Because there was just so many builds. So a lot of things have changed since then. I've stopped doing a lot of more budget style builds. Which is another thing. Even though I did 733 builds, a build is a build. So a lot of those builds were more budgety style builds. So I did a lot of, you know, $500, $700 price range builds. And I don't really do as many of those now. I do kind of a little bit more higher end stuff. Because it was just, I just couldn't handle the quantity and the money that you would make doing those builds was just, the margin was so low, it almost came to the point where it was just wasn't worth it. Fractal Galaxy Star. Been waiting, doing a case swap upgrade, building a system for the living room with my old parts and upgrading to a 5080 and a 9800X 3D. Nice. You'll be ahead of me. I'm still running a 5700X, 32 gigs DDR4 3200, or was it 3600? Whatever. And like 4 terabytes of NVMe storage and a 3070 Ti. Also, the most expensive 3070 Ti there ever was. Because I bought it back in like 2022 when 3070 Ti's were like $2,000. If you wanted it now, or within like a reasonable amount of time. And my GPU bots stopped working when I needed cards. Okay, what's Max doing? Max is just over here snoozing next to me. He had his dinner. He's all ready for the night. Just waiting for me to finish the stream, and so he could try to convince me to throw a ball one last time before it's bedtime. Fractal Galaxy Star, 0 RPM mode. Yes. We're kicking on, turning off, kicking on, turning off on the GPU here. If the GPU isn't under stress and doesn't need cooling, it will shut off. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. How many times did you visit Micro Center in 2023? It's some giant idiot. I can tell you right now, even to this day, every build your own rep over at Micro Center knows me by name. So if I walk in there, it's kind of funny that everybody fights over like servicing me because they get a pretty, Micro Center sales guys, they get their commission off of the sale. So every time I walk in, they know it's a nice juicy one. So we used to have fun with that. I don't go there as much now. I pretty much just order all the parts here because I was the drive time is 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back, so it's an hour every time for a round trip to Micro Center, and that's an hour lost now because time, I have to be more efficient with time. I don't go there as much. But how many times did I visit Micro Center in 2023? I would say probably at least a couple hundred times. At least a couple times a week, minimum. And I tried to do that very efficiently. Then, oh yeah, this is great. Then Micro Center started doing this whole, hey, if you're buying an AMD CPU, we're only going to sell you one AMD CPU, no matter what generation or what series it is. You only get to buy one per month, one AMD CPU. So Micro Center pulled that crap on me, and I was like, you know what? I don't have a shop here, so it was. I think they were under the impression that I was just buying these parts and like reselling them, which didn't make sense because at the time I would lose money if I tried to do that. It was like the used market at the time. It was less than, Micro Center. So I would have lost money if I was doing that. Okay, so Windows is installed. We now got to the desktop with a local profile, and we are installing the Gigabyte Control Center, the GCC. What was for dinner? It was like a pasta. Can't remember the exact name. It's a pasta. We'll just say it's a pasta. It was pasta. The pasta. We got the pasta. Have you ever heard of a ghost PC, Ben? No, because I was not able to see it since it's a ghost or hear it. But are you talking about that case with the transparent screen where you could turn it on, turn it off? Like, that's what comes to mind when you say ghost PC. Huh. Gigabyte Control Center install just poof gone. Interesting. I guess we'll have to go download it and install it ourselves manually. Yeah, it's just not there. Oh, a Ghost PC is a PC that can't be traced by the retail market. Okay. So it has no serial number. Or, yeah, serial number's been scratched off. Gigabyte Control Center full install version 26.01.05.01. Released in January 5th, 2026. That'll do. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that right fan. Some giant idiot. It's just doing what it's doing, man. I think after we get the AMD drivers installed, it'll chill out the adrenaline. That's what I've seen that before on AMD cards, and after the adrenaline software is installed, it takes a chill pill. Reminds me we can go get the AMD drivers. AMD drivers. I always download the chipset from AMD's website. I don't know if that's kind of weird. Does anybody else do that? Instead of like installing it from the Control Center or the MSI Center or the Asus driver thingamabopper now, whatever it's called now. Oh, I definitely clicked the 9000 series, but you sent me to the 5000 series. I want the 9070 XT. Okay. The WHQL drivers, right? Chipset. AIM-5. Is there a specific one for B650i? No. B650. Yeah. I got all the parts to do my case swap. I just hope they don't hit me with that BitLocker again. Well, I mean, as long as you don't pull the BIOS battery, should be fine. Wow, brand new update. Yeah, it is. It's actually about 20 days old. 22 days to be exact. And Ant-Man says I ran across a channel that's about building ghost PCs and anatomy. Anatomy. Tony says it happens even if you change a card. That's why it happened to me the last time. That is so weird. It's got to be a bug. I have no explanation for that, Tony, other than it's simply Microsoft. I still run HW monitor. Is that kind of weird, guys? It's kind of old school. I like it. Gives me pretty much a crazy ton of information on a very small app without using a crazy ton of resources. And that's why I like it. Nobody really does it. I think it's a bug too. Yeah, I know. Well, I can tell you guys on Sunday I was on hold with Microsoft for 6 hours. So that tells you anything about their support. 6-hour hold. And I actually ended up hanging up because I was like, this is dumb. After 6 hours, I was like, we're done. We're done. We're moving on. 6 hours of our life that we can't get back. It's kind of a long story on why I was on hold for 6 hours. Oh yeah. I'm still weird and I still put a support folder on the C drive. Is that kind of strange? Oh. Thanks, Windows Updates. I appreciate you downloading the AMD drivers for me. I didn't want you to do that. It's another Microsoft. Wonderful Microsoft thing. Oh. Somebody's going to get that banhammer. Besides being very irritating, it didn't really matter, Tony says over on Twitch, that I got a BitLocker on the new PC, but I have a lot of stuff on this one and I don't want to lose it. Yeah, I would just make sure that BitLocker is not enabled on that C drive. Or any of the drives for that matter. Windows is a menace. Yeah, it happened to you too, Robert. Man, makes zero sense as to why it's happening too. I mean, Robert's makes more sense because I think he pulled an SSD out and put it back in, right? Or was it the card? I can't remember what happened to you, Robert. Yeah. The banhammer. This is what happens when you drink too much caffeine and you've been up too long. As far as I've seen, it's only been people who log in with their Microsoft accounts on the Windows app, on a Windows app. Yeah, it's quite strange. Oh yeah, you pulled your CPU and GPU out for Waterloo project, that's right. Which, again, makes zero sense. Maybe the CPU makes more sense because of, like, secure boot and stuff like that, but you didn't have BitLocker enabled. I remember that. I've tried all the ways to turn it off when I think there's actually a PowerShell command you can run to make sure it is 100% killed, disabled, gone, not happening. I'll have to look that up and see if I can post it in the Discord chat. Africa. Crucial Pro overclocking, 16 gigabyte DDR5. Ooh, we got some specs from the owner. I can confirm it is 32 gigs total. So 16 gigabyte by 2. And then you have two Samsung 990 Pros, 2 terabytes, a Gigabyte B650i Ultra, Aorus Ultra, revision 1. It is definitely revision 1. That's why the 9600X didn't post out of the box. That's why we had to do a Q flash. Radeon RX 9070 XT. What's the power? 850 watt SFX in the Cooler Master NR200P Max. Sorry, Max, not you, dude. Not talking to you. Yeah, good boy. 280 millimeter AIO cooler, which was pre-installed. Nice. That's why it came with the cooler. I was pretty sure it did. Somebody asked me that question earlier, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it came with the case. So... Work? Work for me? Yeah? Yeah. Install. There we go. Yeah. Oh, we already did that one. Cancel. Cancel! Abort! Abort! Fail. Cancel. Not listening to me. I think I'm gonna lighten up on the infinity fans a little bit and the case swap, and I might mount a card horizontal like that. I just got to get the bracket when I have money again. So the bracket that I'd recommend, Tony, that fits almost every case is that Cooler Master Universal. I like that one a lot. But it is, I think, only available on PCIe 4.0 unless they came out with a new version that I'm not aware of yet. So just keep that in mind. Not that it matters, like, a 1% difference. Not that big of a deal. Oh, tiny but powerful build tonight. Yeah, Tat. Yeah, I thought you'd be interested in this one. Because you were talking about downsizing from a King 95 to something like this, right? You're like, let's go Let's go small. Somebody got told they have the big truck syndrome. So they're like, oh, yeah? Well, I could drive a smart car. Chris, are you doing another one tonight? Unfortunately, no, I am not. This is going to be it for the evening. I'm just getting through some of the software so that we can pretty much tell them, hey, come pick it up tomorrow. I'll hang out for a bit because I know we went through this pretty quick. Build number 10. Yep. No specs, Tony. Or, Tat. Sorry, Tony. Killer, how often do you need to update the BIOS? I have an MSI X870E, but I was just curious. So with newer platforms like this, I would say probably as often as you can. And read the BIOS notes to see what it's impacting or what they're changing. So if it's something you don't want, then don't do it. But all the updates usually carry over to the next, so anything that happens above that update that you don't want will be carried over to the next one that you might want. They roll into each other. Unless they undo something. Gotcha, thank you for the info. Yeah, you're welcome, Killer. So yeah, with the X870E and the 9950X 3D, they probably, with more recent updates, are probably making the chip more efficient with power, which might extend the life of your CPU. So I would recommend you, and kind of like what some giant idiot is saying, always have a backup QFlash of the version that you are currently running that you know is working. Then you can always revert back using QFlash. Make that handy on a USB drive. Yeah, and then there might be some new support things that come out for newer hardware if you're upgrading something. So anytime you're really adding a new component to your system, you should definitely look at updating your BIOS. If you're on the 12th or 13th or 14th generation CPUs by Intel, you 100% should be updating on a regular basis anytime they release a new update, because those stupid microcode updates, man. If you don't, you're probably just letting your CPU degrade rapidly. So make sure you do your updates for Intel. At least the 13th and the 14th gen at minimum. Tony says, I don't think I should have to worry about it being so my motherboard is the only one for my CPU and the only one ever, the CPU. I still would recommend it, Tony. I think you're on a 12900K LGA 1700 socket. Killa, I noticed the motherboard had a a port that says BIOS. I'm using this I'm assuming this is where I put or plug in the update, huh? So that would be used for QFlash. So let's say a BIOS update fails, and then all of a sudden your PC won't post. It's because your BIOS failed and it didn't finish flashing. You would use the QFlash to recover from that. So that's what that is for. You can literally put it in any USB port on the back, go into your BIOS and go into the updater tool in the BIOS built in there. Doesn't matter what port you put the USB drive in at that point. But if you're using the QFlash feature, yes, you have to put it in the labeled port BIOS update. Is it bad to overclock it? In this tiny build, the goal would be to undervolt it, not overclock. Chris. Ant-Man. Ben, I made a deal with my mom if I lose 60 pounds by August, that I could buy a new 70-inch TV, or should I get the Samsung Odyssey Arc 49-inch? Ooh, that's a tough one. Wyatt, Quack, welcome to the Build Show. What's the first thing to do once you power up your PC? Well, I would say BIOS update, honestly. Especially if it's newer hardware. That'll get you on the best platform. Or that would get you the best results with newer hardware. Pray it works. Tad says, pray it works is the first thing you should do. Yeah, If it posts, definitely just do a BIOS update. If it doesn't post, it's possible you need to do a BIOS update, just like we experienced with this one. The 9600X on a Revision 1 B650i board. The BIOS that was shipped on this board didn't know what the CPU was until we did the QFlash. So I do recommend doing the BIOS update. And that's if you have another PC available, so where you could download the BIOS and put it on a USB drive and then plug it in. If you don't have that, then obviously you want to install Windows, get to the internet, then download the BIOS update, go do the BIOS update, come back, and then finish the installation of all that stuff. Oh. I actually don't want to install that. I didn't realize that was selected. No. No Ryzen Master. Bad. I'm still using the first BIOS ever installed on my Z690 for my 14900KF. I think some giant idiot is actually trolling me over on Twitch, to be honest. Just curious, just curious. Oh, sorry, Akila. I missed your chat over there on Kick. Kick is pretty lonely. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at it. Do you recommend updating the BIOS? How frequently? I have an MSI Tomahawk X87, and we answered your question over on Twitch. Sorry about that. Steve, what's up, man? Welcome back to the Build Show. And then there was a language that I cannot speak, referencing a 5070 with a smiley face over on YouTube. Hello, I was playing Silent Hill 2 Remake. This computer looks great. Yes, it is a ITX build that we've got going here. Don't want that. Exit. All right. Fan control. Oh yeah, we're gonna bump this guy up. CPU opt. Oh, there's two system fans, so there must be another system fan on this board that I'm not aware of. Yes, we want that CPU slope mode. This is actually a pump. We want this bad boy running. That's a good place for it, I think. Oh yeah, aggressive. We have a pretty aggressive fan curve is what I'm going to test with first. We got to reboot this thing. What is the GPU? It's a 9070 XT Asus Prime OC. AMD Ament. Which one would you pick? That is a tough one, man. I would say, well, for me, Probably the Odyssey. The Odyssey Arc. Steve Anderson says, Mr. Linux here. I'm on Windows 11 Pro, a little altered, but Windows 11 Pro. Nice. Zero, welcome to the build show. Tony, I like the NVIDIA app running overclock on my 5080. Got it up to 3200, and the highest to hit was 70 Celsius, so it's pretty cool. Mostly stay around 50 or so, or less. What does your voltage curve look like? Yeah, that's a good question. Kilobyte. Hydrate. Okay. Well, the only thing I got hydrating over here is a Coke. Cheers. Coke Zero. Iffy graphics card. What do you mean? Iffy. It's a 9070 XT. Nice GPU. Yes. Yes. Cheers. 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 All right. The last thing to install, and then it's just Windows updates from there, and then we could throw some benchmarks at it. Can't remember. I just let them do it because I wanted to test the card to make sure it wasn't going to have any more issues after having the one be bad. Yeah, I don't blame you having some trust issues there, Tony. Not all the fans are spinning. Oh, this is called zero turn, which means if it's passively cooling and the GPU is not being used, the fans don't spin. What that does is actually save the bearings, the life of the bearings in the fan. So it's actually a plus. Cane sugar Coke. Yes, I would prefer a sugar Coke, but my body, when I drink a Coke, I add 5 pounds, and it goes right to my butt. Why were the left and center fans spinning, but not the right one? Good question. Part of the reason why is because I don't have the AMD Adrenalin software installed yet, so I am installing that right now. So that should start behaving after we get the software installed. It's kind of just doing its own thing right now. Whatever's set on the firmware, I guess, is my guess. Oh yeah, it should definitely. I've seen it happen to a lot of AMD cards. But we are right now in the process of installing the AMD Adrenalin software. There we go, yeah. So, during the install, it kicks the fans on. It's normal. Robert says the Prime 9070 XT looks better in the flesh than in pictures. Yes, it does, actually. I agree with that statement. Actually a very nice looking GPU. Okay. Adrenalin is installed, but it is not running. I think we're gonna have to reboot. Oh, now it's launching. There we go. Ooh. Before you jump in. Do. We're probably going to adjust the fan curve on this one because it is an ITX build. And we want to be a little bit more aggressive with the GPU fan curve as well. A little more aggressive, I think. I think that would be ideal. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it either. The benefit is it saves the saves your fan bearings, and those are obviously the most difficult fans to replace because you got to take the card apart. So I understand the idea behind it. It's kind of like fuel economy in your vehicle, in your newer car that shuts off when you're at a stop sign or a stoplight. It shuts off to save fuel. It's kind of the same mentality. You're saving the life of the bearings by not running it if it's not needed. But I feel like it also causes kind of a delay. The fans have to spin harder when it does finally heat up to catch itself back up, to cool itself down. So, doesn't maintain... I think that's just my opinion, though. I don't know if it actually makes that big of a difference. It's an electric motor, so it once they start spinning, they spin. Not a fan of... Yeah, not a fan. I caught that. I did catch that. Oh, man. Alright, guys. We got adrenaline installed. Ooh. Yeah. This has my benchmarks. I'm just going to throw a simple one on there real quick and launch it. And I know we don't have any of the side panels on, so we'll have to put those back on. Maybe one day I'll have my capture card working again. Set up. So you guys can actually see what I'm doing. On, off, on, off, on, off isn't good for the card either, though, to me. It's like, pick your poison. I don't think it's bad for it. Passively cooling, especially in this particular tower, we've got two fans right beneath it that are intake, blowing air right through the fins. So, it's definitely passively cooling right now. It didn't keep it on the 32, it just got up to that. Wait a second. They're thinking they left room to grow on the 5080 because they were going to come out with the 5080 Supers. It would make them work better. It didn't keep it on the 32, it just got up to that. Okay. Yeah. Are you talking about the 5090? Your sound is better tonight. Oh, that's interesting. The only difference is that I'm like sitting right up on the microphone and talking. Which we do have, we had a company reach out and asked us to try a different microphone. So we might be swapping out microphones to test. They want me to do a video on the microphone. Like a sales pitch video. But what they're going to get is an honest review. I'm not about lying. If it sucks, I'm going to tell them it sucks. And they have the option to let me post it or not. So they sent me a microphone, kind of like one of these, but it's from some unknown brand. Okay, here we go. We're gonna kick this card into a load. We didn't do any Windows updates, so there's, I think, a couple there that need to be done. Small ones. Nothing too crazy. Right, just stuff. Benchmark is running. Fans are still not on. There we go. Go ahead and put our panels back. Oh, I just remembered we have a second drive in there we have to initiate and format. Glad I thought of that. You want to increase a little bit of airflow on here. Removing this mesh will help it breathe a little better. Just a tip on this particular tower. All right, so we've got it boxed up. And we need to get that HW monitor open. And I want to look at the CPU from Task Manager. See if we have any throttling happening. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad, Tony. For a 5080 right now, not too bad. The fix was not using AMD. You need add-on for FC to work with AMD cards. Just another reason I don't own it anymore right now. Oh, man. Rough. All right, so the benchmark is running. Right now we're at 200 frames on ultra settings in the Valley benchmark. 250 actually. 300 actually. And then on the close-up scenes, we're about 150. But these are all, I'm like putting a pretty decent load on it. So this is a pretty good benchmark. Looks like it's performing pretty well. And it's maintaining a pretty good temp too. Graphics card got as hot as 74 Celsius so far, which is a little bit warmer than I'd want to see. CPU is maintaining at 61. Not too bad for an ITX. I was recently asked about temp control. Now I use FC to increase rad fan pump speed based off of VRAM temps. That's a good call, to especially if you're doing more GPU gaming that's or gaming in general that's using the GPU versus your CPU. Depends on what's more important. I'm not a fan of variable speed on AIO pumps. Yes, I pretty much, that's what I did to this one. I set it, I have a stair climb from 80 to 100% based on the temperature. So it's just a stair climb, not a curve. So it's either going to be running 80% or 100%. Depending on if it needs that little bit or not. But yes, 80% is probably fine for most builds, I would say. 80% pump speed for the record. All right, guys. We just about hit the 2-hour mark, but I'm going to call it here tonight. We've got the ITX build up and running. We got Windows installed as well, and we have it benchmarking. So that wasn't too shabby. There's still a few things that I got to do. I'm going to run a memory test, run a CPU test, and run a... or since they're 990s, I'm actually going to get the Magician installed. Make sure that their firmware is up to date. The SSDs. And then we should be good. Should be pretty good. All the reason to go to 110. Next build stream probably going to be towards the weekend here, guys. Either Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure which day yet. So just, if you're not already in the Discord, make sure you jump into the Discord and join there. And just keep an eye out. Or ask me. Hey, Ben, are you actually streaming? Maybe I'll forget. You know. Thank you, Some Giant Idiot, for dropping the Discord link there. which is in the chat if you'd like to join. With that being said, Discord's a cool place to hang out. We got a lot of smart people in there. Good place to ask questions or chat about hardware, or anything in general. And then there's a few of us that'll game in there too. Sometimes you'll see me in there. Feel free to jump in and game. So, with that being said, guys, that is it for me. I've been up way too long today. I gotta go to bed. So we'll finish this up in the morning and get this ready for pickup tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Yes, the after party's over in Discord. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.